How are you feeling?
Horrible.
You were like limping up to me.
Yeah. I mean, I went through a war last night, but I mean, mentally I feel great. Physically, went through a war. So I mean, I'm as sore as I expected to be this morning. I knew going in that I was going to feel like crap the next day, and I do feel like crap. But things turned out for the best, and I'm here. So
you got your job back.
I did. I'm back in NXT, and that's a funny thing, This match was more than about revenge. It was about, getting my life back. Because I could have went and wrestled on the indies. I could have did things like that. But I love NXT. I'm very proud of NXT. I'm very proud of what I've built in NXT. So that's where I want to be. And I'm happy to be back.
How do you get your job back if the match is not actually sanctioned? Ooh.
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
Luckily, I guess General Manager William Regal put it in the contract. He might have a soft spot for me or something like that. But luckily it worked out and I won. Yeah.
Well, speaking of soft spots, there's no soft spots when you and Tommaso wrestle. No. Do you take him aside before the match and go, all right, we kind of knocked it out of the park with the last match. What are we going to do to top it this time?
No, I think it's just I know Tommaso. I know him very, very well. And that's just how he's always been. He's always hit extraordinarily hard. One of the hardest hitters in professional wrestling, bar none. So it's almost like for me, look, I'm gonna take it, and I'm gonna take it, but I can give it back as well.
Yeah.
And if you look at his face after the match last night, I gave it back quite a bit.
You and Andrade Cien, you worked pretty stiff with each other too. Is that something you discussed beforehand?
No, I mean it's just how I am. I mean, it's the current landscape of professional wrestling. I mean, that's how I think I've always been. It's just it's a little bit more amplified when you have 4 cameras around you.
Sure.
You have a camera here, a camera there, a camera there, a camera there, and they're all high def as opposed to independent wrestling cameras where there's basically just one hard cam that you got to play to, or maybe a roving floor cam that might be an iPhone or something like that. So things are a little bit more amplified in the WWE.
That match that you had, we'll talk about the Tommaso match in a second, but the Cien match, you had so many false finishes in that match. Do you get to a point where it's like, how can we finally end this match?
No, I mean, I don't know. I don't know at least. I'm lucky enough to where, the things I've been a part of, they've had great stories behind them. And at the end of the day, that's what we do. I think a great wrestling match is like watching a movie, and it builds to a climax. And I think matches happen organically, matches happen naturally, and if it's forced, it doesn't feel real. And I kind of just try to make things feel as real as possible.
And that is officially a 5-star match. Yeah. So congratulations. What does that mean to you?
It's mind-blowing to me. It doesn't. None of this seems real. Like I said, I was at Access a couple days ago, and it's like to have an Access signing and to see my face up there with like Cena and Undertaker and Shawn Michaels and Triple H and guys like that who I idolized growing up. None of this seems real, and to basically be in a 5-star match, and there's only a select few people in the WWE. There's only a select few matches in WWE history that have actually been rated 5 stars, and there hasn't been one since 2011. And for me to have one of them now in 2018, I guess it is now, and then my match with Tommaso last night, we'll see what that gets. But I mean, to potentially have 2 5-star matches in the span of, I guess, a couple months. I mean, some people care about that. Some people don't. For me, you could think it's a 1-star match. You could think it's a 5-star match, and that's the beauty of professional wrestling. I think is there's something for everybody.
Yeah.
Some people could hate my match, but some people could love my match. Some people, some people could.
I don't think so.
But I mean, that's the thing. That's the beautiful thing about takeovers too. You look at Takeover, there's a main event every single match. The show, it tops itself every single time. If you didn't like my match, I'm sure you went crazy for the ladder match. If you didn't like the ladder match, I'm sure you love Shayna Baszler and Ember Moon. If you didn't like Shayna Baszler and Ember Moon, you like the triple that tag. You didn't like that. You like Andrade Cien Almas and Aleister Black. There's literally something for everyone, and I think that's what makes Takeover so special.
A lot of people are talking about your match. A lot of people are also talking about the ladder match. Were you backstage looking at it, watching it?
Yes, I watched the ladder match last night. I mean, I tried to get in my own head zone, but I wanted to make sure to watch the ladder match because for me, there's a lot of guys in that match, and like Ricochet, who I've known for a very, very long time. I've wrestled him I can't even count. I wrestled him all over the world. I wrestled him in China. I wrestled him in Japan. I wrestled him in America. I wrestled him like literally everywhere. And he's literally a video game character come to life. He can do anything in the ring. And I knew being in that environment, having a ladder match with Ricochet involved, it's going to get crazy.
Yeah.
Especially a guy like Adam Cole, too, a guy I've wrestled all over the world. Killian Dane, Velveteen Dream. I can't say enough good things about Velveteen Dream. He's in his early 20s, and he's a freaking superstar, and he's going to be a millionaire one day. I have no doubt in my mind.
So are you, by the way.
Thank you. Lars Sullivan was as well, who is an absolute freak. He's a monster. Like the talent pool in NXT, I can go on and on and on about how amazing our locker room is, because it is. Like, if you look at our roster up and down, like, it's untouchable, man. That's why I want to be there, because that's the place to be right now.
I love that you're putting everyone over.
Look, I love everybody.
I always tell everyone how nice you are, but it's serious. Like, you put everyone over, and you're so excited to be part of this this whole thing, which I think is amazing. The last time I saw you was exactly a year ago. It was the Sunday, which is what it is, Sunday right before Mania.
It is a normal anniversary now. The Sunday after a takeover,
That's it.
Do this.
A lot has changed, though, since then.
I'm a lot more beat up than I was last year.
We were at your house last year. You're certainly more beat up. You're also way more jacked.
Thank you.
When did this all happen?
So when I went away for a little bit when the Tommaso turned his back on me. So I went away for a while. And I, in my mind, I'm always of that mindset of when you go away, you got to come back and you got to be better than yourself. And that's in my mindset from like watching a guy like Triple H, who went away and tore his quad and came back with those beautiful day videos and like freaking looked like $1 million. You can't go away for a long time and come back and look worse. That you just can't do that. So I'm like, I got to change something. And I realized in myself, like, look, like I'm a small guy. I'm never going to be 250 pounds. I'm never going to be 6'5", but I can get as jacked and as lean as physically possible. And luckily enough, for some reason, I have genetically great abs. I don't know where that came from because my parents don't have them. But yeah, so I decided, you know what, I'm going to go all in on being lean, go all in on just putting my best foot forward and looking the best I can, and that's what you get.
So it mostly diet, right?
It's a lot of diet. But like my dieting isn't like people think like, oh, you go chicken, rice. I hired a nutritionist, which is a big help. Austin Current on Instagram. He's working with a lot of people now in WWE, just because people saw how well it worked for me, and people are like, oh, give me your nutritionist info because it works. So I work with him, and then that along with Sean Hayes at the Performance Center, who has absolutely amazing workouts, and he's gotten me where I need to be. But for me, it is a lot of diet. It's a lot of I don't like you just gotta eat chicken and rice. I eat Fruity Pebbles. I eat things like that.
What?
Yeah, but I only eat like 1,800 calories, so I don't eat very much. But I feel I can fit in whatever I want. I'm very big on the if it fits your macros dieting. Where I gotta hit certain numbers and things like that. Like I wouldn't be able to, because I'm a fat kid. Trust me. Like I've been waiting for. We went and got beignets last night. I've been waiting for a while, so we got some beignets. I have donuts in my room waiting for Candice when she's done at Access.
So basically what Johnny's saying is if you want abs, eat donuts.
Eat donuts, that is the secret. So if you are listening, you're watching this, go to Krispy Kreme right now, pick up donuts, abs, probably the next day, I think. It works very fast. It's phenomenal.
I'm someone who, I have an ab or two every once in a while.
You do.
Thank you.
I mean, you're in great shape.
I'm no Johnny Gargano, but I have an ab or two every once in a while. Sometimes I have 8 of them, but it's the donuts. But it's all about, they say that abs are made in the kitchen, not the gym.
100%. If you have a layer of fat over, I think everyone has abs, right? That's how that works.
Yes, everyone has the abdominal muscles.
Everyone has ab muscles. It just depends on if you eat more food.
So Kevin Owens has abs?
Oh, 100%. He's probably got great abs. He's great core, great core swing. There's the cannonball, he does the power bomb. This is all a core exercise. I mean, it's the pop-up power bomb. So, yeah.
I like that your sleeves have disappeared from your shirt.
Yeah, this is
Look at how ripped you are. This is unbelievable.
Well, this is the beignets this is the sugar from the beignets making my veins pop right now. That's another trick. You want to eat a lot of sugar before you wrestle, so you look vascular. I'm giving away all the tips to trade. That's a real thing, though.
That is a real thing.
That's a real thing.
Yeah. Do you and Candice work out together?
Yes. So now that Candice is with WWE, like sometimes we can go and work out together at the Performance Center, which is great because like their equipment is top notch. But before that, like, yeah, me and her worked out all the time. She absolutely hates me. She hates when we work out together because I'm a very big like endurance person. I'm very big like supersets and things like that I try because I'm strong. I'm strong for my size, I guess, but I'm not like throwing up 500 pounds. So I need to do a lot of reps to kind of get me going. And she just, I do a lot of supersets, a lot of weird stuff that I learned from the PC, and like I watch a lot of Instagram videos.
You say that with such disdain.
Look, I have Instagram for 2 reasons. I have Instagram to look at food I can't eat on most days and look at cute babies or workout videos. That's basically all I have Instagram for. So I do a lot of those workouts with her, and she hates me more.
I have Instagram just to follow you, to be honest.
I don't know if I'm very good at Instagram. I think sometimes.
No, you're very good.
Oh, I appreciate that. Because I'm not. I'm more in my Twitter game sometimes, but I work.
What's good about your Instagram is it's not just professional photos of you in the ring.
Yeah.
You actually show that you have a real life. You show that you eat food. Yeah. You show that you're interested in things like collecting action figures and stuff like that. And I think that that's what makes you a human being.
That's the thing, too. Like, people are so afraid to be human beings in this day and age, especially in wrestling. Like, they think, like, God, you need to be this really tough, angry person at all times. It's like, that's not real. Like, I'm a real dude. And I think that's a big reason why, a lot of people say that I'm, like, the last true baby face in the world, that people like, because people are so used to like, we want to cheer the bad guy and we like shades of gray and we like dirty, down, gritty guys. And you look at me and I'm not dirty and I'm not down and I'm not gritty. I got down, dirty and gritty last night, but not most times I'm not. But I think that's just because people can relate to me. People can see that I am a real person and I am a real person that's just living my dream. Yeah. And at the end of the day, like, I think that helps them root me on. And so like, look, if this guy can do it, I can do it as well. And I see myself in him. And I think that's my trick. That's my secret.
Yeah. There really aren't any true heels in the sense of the word like there were in the Attitude Era anymore.
True heel. The only true heel I'd say right now is Tommaso Ciampa.
Well, you're just saying that because you don't like him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. I think a lot of people don't like him, to be fair.
Yeah, no,
you should see
right.
that I get tagged in a lot of the tweets he gets. People are not nice.
Wow. Well, that's just because they like you so much.
That's the thing. That they like me so much, and they really love DIY. They loved the camaraderie of 2 guys coming together, like, and it was very organic. People saw us grow from 2 guys who didn't have contracts to the NXT Tag Team Champions, and that happened mainly because of them, their response they gave us, and like to have Tommaso basically rip that away from them, take that away from them. Like, I think that affected a lot of people very, very deeply. So
Is your program with Tommaso done now?
For me last night, the final shot was me and Candice. For me, in my mind, it's a beautiful ending to that story. Yeah. So I think so. I hope so.
I'm so happy when I see you and Candice in the ring together, because I'm like, there's so many wrestlers who like rarely see their wives. Yeah. The fact that you actually get to work with your wife's amazing.
It's amazing how everything's worked out. Like, literally, it's a dream come true. To not only be in the position I'm in, to get the main event takeovers, but also to have my wife there with me now. Yeah. And like I've said this numerous times, but it couldn't be, like, it's so true. Like, Candice has worked just as hard as I have, if not harder. She, especially for like what she did on the Indies, she was an absolute trendsetter. So me being biased as her husband, like, I'm pumped to see her wrestle, pumped to see her in NXT just so I can be with her. But as a pure wrestling fan, like, I'm so excited for Candice LeRae to be in NXT because she's one of the best wrestlers in the world. I
love this story of how you guys met, because you actually met at a wrestling show. For everyone that's not familiar with this, can you tell us how it happened?
So we met at a PWG show in California. Like, we met there a couple times. She came backstage and we talked a bit.
But you were like, who's that pretty girl over there?
Yeah, come on, obviously, yes. I don't know if it was so much as that. That was the exact verbiage I used. But something along those lines. But the thing is, too, like, it's crazy because it's like you watch, like, the Joey Ryan has, her tag team partner at the time, has, like, a YouTube show. And you can, if you go back and watch, like, that year of the YouTube show, you can kind of see our relationship developing. I remember 4 years ago we were in New Orleans for WrestleMania, and there is a distinct shot where we are on Bourbon Street. It's after a show, and me and Candice are just like talking to each other, and just like she posted it on her Instagram recently, like a story where, like, because she texted me that night, and like we met a little bit before that, and she asked me where I was going, and I was like, I think we're all going to Bourbon Street. So she went there just to hang out with me. And like there's this thing shot on the YouTube show where we're just looking at each other and just talking, and like you can see in our eyes that like we genuinely care for one another. And that was before we were even together. I know. So if you check out that clip, the Candice posted it on her Instagram. So yeah, you can see that. Yeah.
Wow. Will she have a full-time, role on NXT? Is that's what we're working towards?
I mean, I hope so. I mean, like with anything in NXT, it's all about opportunity. It's all about right place, right time. And like I said, there's so much talent and it's so loaded. But again, for my money, Candice LeRae is one of the best wrestlers in the world. Yeah. And she's at Access right now. And I think you're going to be seeing a lot more of her in the future.
And it's the best time to be not just an independent wrestler, not just a wrestler, or not just a women's wrestler, but just a wrestler in general right now.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like I keep going back to the NXT roster, but like you look at the Indies too. Like everything is booming. Everything's bopping, everything's going well, and we're here WrestleMania weekend. WrestleMania weekend is the biggest wrestling weekend of the year. Yeah. Over 80,000 wrestling fans from around the world are here, and it's always crazy when it's in New Orleans because like Bourbon Street in general is like nuts and dirty and crazy. I try to not go there that much, but it's even crazier when there's 80,000 wrestling fans taking it up, and just. It's such a cool environment. Like, this is one of my favorite weekends of the year because you walk around and you see like wrestling shirts everywhere. Like I said, it's like I went to Access a couple days ago and like I had media row at like 6 a.m. and like that was before the doors were open on Access, and I got to walk around the Superstore and walk around Access. And Access is like the coolest place in the world. It's like Disney World for wrestling fans because there's just so much stuff to do, and like it's amazing. Like it's wild.
So if you watched wrestling, or if you watched WrestleMania at WrestleMania 30 here in New Orleans as a fan, you're watching today as a superstar.
Yes.
Where do you actually watch?
So we'll be backstage. Okay. All of NXT are going to be backstage watching, obviously. We're part of the company just as much as them, and it's cool. We watched last year. We watched up in a booth, and it was so cool just to be there live. Like it's so different. I've never been to a WrestleMania before this. I always said I never wanted to like. As a fan, never wanted to go to WrestleMania because I wanted to wait. I wanted to wait for that moment. Yeah. And now to be there and to be backstage and just to feel the energy and just look around. I got so many videos on my phone from last year, especially when the Hardy Boys returned. Oh, yeah. Like the atmosphere in the building was just so nuts. Like it really drives you as a performer. Just to be like, I can't wait for one day when I get that opportunity to be there. So yeah, it's exciting.
Is that the goal? WrestleMania is the goal for you?
It's been my goal since I was 8 years old. I mean, I say if you get into wrestling, people always say like, oh, like, do you want to go to WWE? Before I came here, it was like, do you want to go to WWE? Do you want to go do that? And I'm like, when I was a little kid, like I loved wrestling and I loved WWE. Like I loved like that. I wanted to be at WrestleMania. Yeah. I'd always dreamed, that was the dream. Like you'd be like, I'm going to main event WrestleMania one day. Like that was the dream. So in order for that to happen, you have to be in WWE, and that has not changed for me. Like that's still my goal, is to main event WrestleMania one day.
We mentioned this last year, but I remember I was ring announcing one of your matches in Cleveland, and I was talking to you about Impact or TNA at the time. They were doing the gut check and bringing in independent wrestlers from all over the country to have a spot. And you were like, I have no interest. Like I don't want to do TNA. I want to go to WWE, and you held out. And I think that's so impressive.
Yep. I have always had tunnel vision on what I wanted to do. For me, like it was always my game plan was always to follow in like the Daniel Bryan footsteps. I think he set the precedent. He said, do everything you possibly can on the Indies, and then when you're ready to move on, and you're ready to be successful in WWE because you've learned everything you possibly can. You've done everything you possibly can. Like I think Gabe Sapolsky, when I was working with him, he hearkened it to becoming a doctor. Like you can't just become a doctor and just like start operating on people and be successful at it. You're gonna kill somebody. You're gonna be horrible at it. You need to go to school. You need to learn. The Indies are almost like going to school and learning. Yeah. So when you're ready to go, you're ready to go. So that was always my goal. And I mean, look at a guy like Daniel Bryan. Like I'm just kind of walking in his footprints right now. Yeah,
you get a lot of comparisons to Daniel Bryan.
I do. I get a lot of comparisons to Daniel Bryan, and trust me, I'm flattered by all of them because like seeing, like I brought up New Orleans WrestleMania, like I watched it at home, but watching Daniel Bryan in the main event of WrestleMania achieve his dream, and I said this numerous times, but I've been in the ring with Daniel Bryan, and he's the best wrestler in the world, bar none. So to be able to see him come back this year, and I know he just recently said in an interview that he wanted me to lose last night because he wanted to steal me to go on SmackDown Live, which I very much so appreciate. I'm gonna give him a rain check on that one because I still have couple things I want to accomplish in NXT. But like to see Daniel Bryan, that's the thing I'm most looking forward to this year, is seeing Daniel Bryan return to the ring. And just for me, being a good guy, not just in the ring, but hopefully out of it, Daniel Bryan is the best guy. And it's so cool to see good things happen to good people, and he deserves everything.
Now that he's back, maybe you guys can work together.
I would love to. We have in the past in the Indies. Like you said, he's the best guy I've ever been in the ring with. But now I guess it's a little bit different now. I got like when he announced his return on Twitter when it came out that he was coming back, like so many people wanted to see us fight each other, but they also wanted to see us team together as the ultimate underdog babyface duo.
Do you want to go back to a tag team?
I mean, look, if I'm teaming with Daniel Bryan, I'm okay with it. If I can have him as my partner, I think I can trust him a little bit more than Tommaso.
The lineup for you at Access was massive, as you know. What's been your craziest fan interaction?
I haven't had that many Everyone's been really nice and really cool.
Like people make you stuff. It's like the coolest thing.
Yeah, I have a very special interaction with my fans. And trust me, things are just recently when I landed at the airport here in New Orleans. I think Zack Ryder got one too. But a fan who was a manager at Toys R Us actually got me a Johnny Gargano Toys R Us nameplate made, an official one. And that because they're closing, and he knows how much that sucks and how sad I am about it. But to now have an official Toys R Us nameplate, that was super cool. As soon as I landed in New Orleans, so that set the mood off right. But that's the thing. It's so weird to me just to have people freak out when they meet me, because I'm just hey, I'm just like you guys. I'm just a normal dude, man. And especially like you mentioned at Access, to see the line, to see how many people are around, and it breaks my heart because they are always you only have 2 hours to meet all these people. So as soon as those 2 hours are up, you got to go, and I always feel so bad because I'm I literally was no, I'll literally stay here as long as it takes to meet him, but they have things they need to get done. So to anyone who waited in line to meet me at Access that couldn't, I'm very, very sorry. And if you see me on the street, you see me anywhere, please do not hesitate to come up and say hi, and I will sign and take pictures and do whatever. That. People are always I don't want to bug you. You're never a bother. Wherever you see me, come on up. No worries.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I remember watching your matches when you were starting to get the Johnny Wrestling moniker.
Mm-hmm.
Did that tie into the fact that there was Johnny Football in Cleveland at that time?
It started up as that. It was literally just a tweet that I sent out one day, when Johnny Football was still in college.
Johnny Manziel,
Yeah, he was still in college, and the Johnny Football thing was starting to catch fire there. I just randomly said, if he can be Johnny Football, why can't I be Johnny Wrestling? And that's just a little tweet I sent out. And then the next weekend at shows, I started getting Johnny Wrestling chants. And the weekend after that, I got Johnny Wrestling chants, and they got bigger and bigger and bigger. And they started on NXT, and as soon as the NXT thing happened, it absolutely blew up. And it was inspired off Johnny Manziel, because like anything, I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, so I was pumped about Manziel Mania coming to town too. Yeah, that turned out. And now anymore, it's kind of taken on a life of its own, so people don't even make that correlation anymore.
Well, you're way more Johnny Wrestling than he is Johnny Football.
Now, yeah. Yeah.
He's like, Johnny, get drunk now. Sorry. Did WWE, were they cool with taking that on, even though that was something that you did in the Indies?
Yeah, 100%. I was hesitant. I wasn't sure if they wanted me to be Johnny Wrestling, because you hear the span, you can't say wrestling, you can't say things like that.
Yeah, you're not a wrestler.
Yeah, you're not a wrestler. But I'm it's my thing. And that's the thing. They're not gonna go against themselves. The Johnny Wrestling thing was hot. People love it, and that's my moneymaker. They said no. They told me no. We want Johnny Wrestling. And as you can see, I have Johnny Wrestling on my WWE merchandise. Yeah. It's on my Titantron.
Yeah.
It's a lot of places, and that's pretty cool for me. That in a world where people say that wrestling is not allowed to be used, it's all over my stuff, and they let me go with it. So yeah, they've been great.
When you look at some of your friends that are on the WWE roster, guys you worked with the Indies, guys you worked with in NXT, who are you most proud of?
Oh man, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Those guys are, I've known Kevin and Sammy, all, like you said, on the Indies for a very, very long time, and it's great to see where they are. I feel like I know almost everyone up there now. I wrestled Seth Rollins, he's great. There's so many guys that I can name all the 205 Live guys. I did so many shows with all of them. I think I know 75% of the WWE roster now, which really speaks volumes on where the business is headed and where it's going. Is that it's a lot of guys just like me who genuinely love this and genuinely want to succeed at it and have dreamed their whole lives of just working for this company and making something special happen, and now they're all getting that opportunity to. And it's like you said earlier, it's a very cool time to be a wrestling fan and a wrestler.
Is there one of your colleagues that you have not met yet, like Undertaker or Bill Goldberg or someone like that?
I think I've met everybody, which is wild.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to think who I haven't met.
Because they'll be there tonight.
They will be there tonight.
And so will you.
Like it's always cool, like to meet like the people that aren't around very often. Like I met like Molly Holly yesterday, and she was very nice, very complimentary of my match with Andrade Cien Almas. So it's just cool to see like the offhand legends that just like they're not around wrestling that much anymore, but they come back for special events and you see them there. But yeah, everyone's like that's the craziest thing to me too, is everyone is so like cool. Like you think like growing up, like, oh, you never want to meet your heroes, especially like a guy like Shawn Michaels, who's literally the best wrestler of all time and was painted on my wall. And for him just to be the most humble, down to earth guy, the best human being too, like it's so cool to see.
I just hope that when you get called up to the main roster, because it's inevitable, that you get to stay Johnny Wrestling. You get to be this guy, because so many guys get called up and it just doesn't work out for them. And
people are real worried about that. I get that on Twitter a lot. They're worried, like, oh man, I don't want to see Johnny go to the main roster because he's gonna get messed up. Like, look, I'm just me. That's the thing. I'm just me. I'm just Johnny Gargano. I'm the same Johnny Gargano I always have been. So
and that's your real name, by the way.
It is my real name.
Yeah.
If you see anything I've done in NXT, you see anything there, like you're getting the real me. And they've treated me very good, so I have no worries about where we're going in the future.
I appreciate your time. Thank you for making this happen.
No, always a pleasure, buddy. Come on.
Hopefully I see you before next year.
I mean, we'll be back here next year, not in New Orleans, in New Jersey, right?
That's right.
Okay, so we'll do this next year, 365 days from now.
Yeah.
We'll be back here, but hopefully I see you in real life before then.
Hopefully.
Deal.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you, buddy.